Rich.
Hello, Mike.
So it's that magical time of the year when we watch Christmas movies for best of the worst.
All right. I look forward to canon or Christmas every year.
Well, that's a shame because we're not doing that this year.
What?
Oh, we just did it one time and we haven't done it since.
So we do it every time?
Yep.
What?
And this time, our gimmick is Christmas or Cats.
Why? Why would we do that?
Well, because we have a surplus of cat-related films. And I'm not just talking about your average household cat. It can be large cats, big cats, great cats, tigers, lions, little household cats, tigers, cats, lions, cats, or other cats. Pumas, leopards.
Do you remember what happened when we had an excess of crocodile movies?
Now, I neither want to watch a Christmas film or a cat film, so Rich, why don't you pick our first tape that's either a Christmas or a cat film?
This night is gonna go on longer than Cats was on Broadway. Meow. I quit. Oh, God.
Are you picking the first tape?
What, you want me to wait for you to say something? Everyone knows I'm gonna pick a tape.
Pick a tape.
You give me this cat shit. Here, I'm gonna open the big one. I'm in such a foul mood. I need a large present. It's just a box. Oh wait, there's something in the box. Two front teeth!
It's a Christmas film.
Where's the cat?
It's a Christmas film. It's Christmas or cat.
Two front teeth. Rankin Bass meets EC Comics. Bill Gaines.
I have no idea what you're saying.
That's the quote on the box.
BC Comics, Rankin Bass, Bill Gaines?
You don't know any of these things?
I don't know anything you're saying. It's like a foreign language.
Rankin Bass made the
Don't bother. Look, I got a lot of things to do today. Let's just get this over with.
He's missing the Packers game. They just fired their head coach because they suck so much. It's the night before Christmas, and Gabe Snow, a tabloid writer haunted by the ghost of Christmas past, is investigating a Yuletide conspiracy. Gabe knows the terrible truth behind the crash of the ill-fated Flight 1225. He alone knows that the plane was brought down one foggy Christmas Eve by a flying creature with a glowing nose. The blood-sucking vampire Santa Claus knows that Gabe knows and has put him on his hit list. The demonic fury of the North Pole has been unleashed, and an army of zombie elves who have no interest in toys, pointy hats, or dentistry are about to turn Gabe's white Christmas blood red.
Are you done?
If I want to be an actress, I have to move out of Maryland. I always told myself that.
Honey, I'm sorry.
What?
She's getting drunk. She's like, I thought I signed up for a Christmas horror film, but this is just going to be a porno, isn't it?
Whatever.
No, I thought I signed up for a porno, but this is going to be a Christmas horror film.
Oh, God.
Christmas horror films.
So much worse.
Bitch! Bitch, huh? Bitch. Who's the bitch now, huh? Who's the bitch now?
Okay, that's fun.
That's funny.
Did you do that?
So, Rich, what do you want Santa to bring you for Christmas?
A canon movie.
All right, here we go. We have a cat film, Graydon Clark's Uninvited.
Is that a cat whose mouth is another cat? I don't like anything about this.
Well, you like the fact that George Kennedy's in it?
No.
Is that
He was in that Sasquatch alien one, too.
that what?
Yeah, you heard what I said. You're going to put the caption on the...
Genetech Research Lab, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Armed security men. This is long. I'm already bored.
Oh my god.
Do you want to pull up a chair while I read this?
Yes. Yes, hold on. I'm going to go get a chair. You start reading that.
I'll just start reading it, and you can come back whenever you're ready. All right.
Goodbye!
Armed security men dressed in radiation suits chase an escaped laboratory animal.
Guys, go get it. Paul, get the cat.
Just as they are about to capture it, the cat transforms into a hideous mutant creature, ripping off one of the men's arms with its powerful claws and escaping into the night. So begins the saga of Uninvited, a sci-fi thriller featuring George Kennedy, Alex Cord, and Clu Gulager, who was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. A bird explodes on his face. As three Wall Street criminals bent on escaping to the Cayman Islands with their latest booty. Wait, what? Oh, that's a continuation of the first sentence. Soon after they head out to sea, the mutant feline begins to wreak havoc with the boat's passengers, attacking Clu Gulager and causing him to fall overboard. This is really specific. This is just explaining the list of events that happened in the movie. We don't even need to do a discussion on it. We'll just read the back of the box again. Reluctantly, where are we? I'm just going to skip to the last sentence. And days later, when a little boy and his daddy discover a sea-soaked piece of luggage on a tranquil beach, will they guess that inside lurks the uninvited?
On the back of the box, did they just describe, like, the end of the movie question mark stinger? Like,
I guess we'll find out.
why is that cat's mouth another cat?
This is an appropriate tagline, though, for the film, Rich. Cats have 9 lives. You only have 1. And we're spending it watching Uninvited.
Merry Christmas.
Ooh. No!
It does look like Hobgoblin.
Oh, in slow motion, it's even better.
All right, Josh. Now you are going to determine the ultimate winner tonight.
Oh.
Christmas or cats?
Christy, Santa's first female reindeer.
Finally.
Yuletide history is being rewritten. Now we add Christy, Santa's first female reindeer. Santa's bringing Christmas for our forest family. But Santa's got a problem. His elf's heart is not in her work. Why worry? Tanglefoot is about to help. I have so many questions. I see. It's just the stills here. Is that number 1? Santa's bringing Christmas for our forest family, which is a wolf, or possibly a dog that looks something like a wolf.
What is wrong with Santa?
That's a very good question.
It looks like he got killed by the abominable snowman.
It does. I think we've got a Wendigo on
No,
our
wait.
hands.
This looks like The Shining, starring Santa Claus.
Well, he's got a problem. His elf's heart is not in her work.
I thought that was an overworked nursing student.
Me too, but apparently no. That's his one and only elf.
I'm just a loss.
We do the best we
Can't
can.
help them. Oh, how did you make this beautiful place?
Well, I didn't make this place. Somebody greater than I made it. I just found it.
Oh, now you're walking in. Okay.
Rich, you look horrified.
I am horrified.
What are we watching?
Oh, we're back here again. No.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
So who's starting off?
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh.
And a happy holidays.
No.
All these films got me in the Christmas spirit.
Did they?
Absolutely.
All of them?
All of them.
No.
Especially, nothing gets me in the Christmas spirit like George Kennedy.
I remember those warm, magical times of watching The Uninvited.
Yeah. It feels like forever ago.
Before the dark times. Before the Empire. I enjoyed life a little. Now it's all gone. It's all been taken away by the porters.
Come on, Christy. You got to keep up.
This is like a terrible sandwich,
Yeah.
right?
The good stuff's right in the middle.
It's like you had the ingredients for a sandwich, right? But your only slices of bread had mold on them.
But the meat was good.
Yeah, the meat was great.
And you ate the bread anyway, and you had a psychedelic trip.
You got to jog a little bit. It got to get you in shape, you know.
Well, Josh, why don't you explain two front teeth?
Jesus, all right.
Ugh.
Look, hey, the director of the Blair Witch Project gave this movie props.
Is there a Maryland connection at all, or?
No.
This one was
Blair
in
Witch
Maryland, was it?
Yeah,
Oh, it
that's
was.
the-
Yeah.
Blair Witch was Florida.
Well, not filmed in.
Burkittsville, Maryland is
Well,
where
but the
it's.
That's right.
filmmakers are
Yeah.
from Florida.
Yeah.
Well-
There is a Florida connection. They either ended up there or were from there, but they filmed it, in Maryland. So
Eduardo Sanchez has something to do with this production.
I think they said, "Hey, Eduardo, we made a horror movie in Maryland. Here's $100. Will you give us a nice pull quote?"
Sure, what's the movie got in it? Okay, cool. Here's the actual thing about this movie. The ideas behind it are not that terrible. There's something interesting that could be done with taking some Yuletide traditions, turning them on their head, mixing them up with some horror traditions, except they fucked it up just 100% wrong.
You can tell it was somebody who loved Evil Dead, Gremlins, horror comedy in general.
Oh, they lifted the door up. That means it's back on the hinges?
Yep.
Oh.
That's how doors work.
Damn Pee-wee sons of bitches.
And then just failed at the execution
They thought
on
they were a
every
little too
level.
witty right in the script.
Charlie Brown wants to kick a field goal. Send us chestnuts a roast in here.
Oh.
There's so many like Christmas-related lines of dialogue and puns.
The only thing I want to find under my tree right now is answers. Who put shit in your stocking?
The problem is they're like, yeah, they looked at Evil Dead and they looked at like early Peter Jackson and they're like, what if we did that, but we never moved the camera?
Yeah.
Do they think they're building tension?
Yes.
With this flat, wide shot? Fuck you. And we shot it on VHS.
Can you imagine Evil Dead with nobody moving the camera? Can you imagine
exactly.
just like two shots the whole fucking movie?
Got me some towels.
Sam Raimi never moved the camera.
That's what he's known for. It's just long static shots.
Long lockdown shots. God, I'm having a hard time visualizing. I close my eyes and all I see is that old Santa. Grandpa's ball sack.
Oh, yeah.
I can't look away. It's like when you look at the sun for a second or a light.
Well, that makes sense because this movie is just bathed in red.
Yeah.
Until they stopped doing that, until they broke their red light or they lost the gel, so then they didn't do it anymore. But yeah, it's clearly.
And it took 2/3 of the movie for that to happen.
Yeah, and they mentioned EC Comics on the front. They're clearly going for that sort of creep show look, but Creepshow used the colors like sparingly. They used it to emphasize the horror.
And I swear to God, if you ever touch me,
Things will be normally lit, and then something crazy happens, and then the red light comes out. But this movie's just everything's just
Consistent.
red. We have to mention this: the main guy in the movie.
They didn't have ho-hos.
is like a 60-year-old man that had a bunch of plastic surgery to look like a 30-year-old man, I think.
So much for my Christmas bonus.
He looks like he's wearing prosthetics. Like, it looks like that's not his real face.
Yeah, like he got plastic surgery to look like Charles Rocket.
Charles Rocket, he looks like Anthony Perkins.
He looks like Bill Nye, Christopher Reeve.
Oh, it kind of looks like Benedict Cumberbatch a little. Not there.
Every time they showed his face, I just wanted him to leave.
Yeah.
There's a weird elasticity, like that it looks fake, and I'm sure that's his actual face, and I feel bad saying it. But it looks weird.
He does a weird like Elvis lip thing when he's talking. He's like, and it's just...
They probably had enough, and even if they haven't, well, I'll make them wish that they hadn't tried to have enough of wishing that they had. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, they're
doing a rear screen projection.
Wow.
And it looks great.
But the rest of the movie then is just, they find not Tony Todd, who has Rudolph's nose, and then
He's
they
a
run away from
cowboy.
the elves, and the rest of the movie is just the elves trying to get them. And Santa is evil, but then real Santa shows up.
Yeah, Santa shows up, and he's referred to as Klaus Ferratu. Womp womp. And then actual Santa shows up, and he's a 15-year-old boy. And then they fight.
I thought he was Santa.
Him? Santa?
Could they get someone other than a 15-year-old boy to play Santa?
That's Moneymaker Mike, Jim.
Yeah, no shit.
I know they think this is funny,
It's not.
but
You could just stop there.
like they should be shooting around Christmas magic. They needed to find the old man who looks just like a real life Santa Claus.
He was busy.
I'll take Christy out, if she's ready, that is.
It was so specifically a kung fu fight, and it's just like that doesn't fit in with the rest of the tone of the movie at all.
No.
Yeah, when you have a movie with so much Christmas stuff in it, and then I guess the joke is just, it looks like Santa, but he's fighting.
Yeah.
It's not much of a joke.
Yeah.
He gives him a gift that warms his heart, and then Nosferatu melts because his heart got warm by the gift.
Or no, he gives a gift, it magically appears, and it floats over to Bad Santa, and then Bad Santa opens the lid on the gift, and just a fist comes out.
Yeah, sure.
That would be hilarious.
Santa would
Or a
defeat
steak.
someone using Santa magic or powers.
Sure.
I think they're going for, haha, isn't it absurd that Santa's using kung fu?
Yeah, but that's
Which is like...
that's a 1 second joke, not a 5-minute joke.
Santa! Santa! Kick his ass, Santa!
That made me laugh. A little tiny typical stuff. Kick his motherfucking ass. It did one thing right.
One successful joke.
That made me laugh.
So generally speaking, this was a bad movie, but I still want to give it credit for trying.
Yeah.
It tried.
Their heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
They had lots and lots and lots of Christmas stuff, which is always my complaint about any sort of like holiday themed horror movie.
For sure.
Is that a lot of times the holiday is sort of incidental.
Yeah, this was absolutely not. This was 100%. The MacGuffin was Rudolph's nose. Like, there's tons of Christmas stuff in it, and they really went for it. I appreciate that. It wasn't good, but I appreciate that they went for it and tried, and they made it all the way to 75 minutes.
No, this is longer than that.
No, it's not.
Oh, no, it's 75. Okay. Oh, that's right, because we joked that the running time is like the shortest that we've ever done, but it felt twice as long.
It was as long as The Uninvited in my heart, maybe longer.
You know what though? Relatively speaking, this movie has gone up a few pegs. Just relatively speaking.
I don't know. I don't think I would agree.
Yeah.
Where the script and had it been done differently, moved things around, paced out better, better performances,
actors.
better shot.
Yeah.
Like, hey, but it's just like, it's just falling on its face the whole time.
I can completely see in my head what this movie should be versus what it is. Yeah.
I still wouldn't, even if it was done flawlessly, it's still not my kind of movie.
Sure. A
And
little
so
too, like, you got the ninja nuns at the end.
It's
Too wacky.
A little too wacky.
May I help you, ladies?
Vow of silence.
Wait, I gotta see if they do the gong every time they cut back to them. No? Okay.
like, isn't it crazy that 3 nuns showed up? And I think they had porn stars play the nuns because their names, one of them had 3 X's in the name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they highlighted them.
Oh.
You know how like
Well,
like
they had
you're,
any
you're like
dialogue.
you're sleazy, like I don't know, Lloyd Kaufman's or people like that.
Yeah.
It makes you want to
Ron
take a shower.
Jeremy shows up in a lot of B movies.
Yes, it's that kind of mentality where
Sure.
it's like, we got Ron Jeremy to say one line.
Ginger Lynn's the newscaster.
A medical discovery by the world-renowned Dr. Lucas of Grizzly Flats.
Things. Yeah.
And that could have been what that was, except they would have been maybe regionally known as porn stars.
I'm speculating. They may not have been porn stars.
Is there regional Maryland porn?
She's big in the Maryland porn scene.
I just like to hear the accents when they're going at it.
I got this one hot movie where she covered her breast in clam chowder.
Deep in downtown Balmer.
Yeah, I hate that, like, look at us, we have these crazy elements in our movie, and it's
Yeah.
so over the, Jesus is in a death metal band, and then he has...
If it's really clever and funny, you can make it work, but...
And that's the thing, like,
it has to be, like, James Gunn clever
yeah,
writing.
but even
you
still,
know what
like,
I mean?
again, if we were redoing that, we'd take a lot of that stuff out.
But I think you need the top tier, the top brass of talent in the world to do that. I just don't think it's worth anyone's time.
That's a good woman you got there, Gabriel. Yeah. And a nice ass on her, too.
Didn't make it go off, Jay.
Oh.
Draw harder.
So the next film that we watched was Uninvited. This was the only cat film. And Mike?
I was going to hand it off to Rich. One, because he loves cats.
Well, you know what? I don't want to talk about Christy. So just, fuck it.
Hey, what is this? What is this?
Mutiny!
What is this mutiny?
Mutiny!
What is happening here?
You know what I'm gonna? You know what I'm gonna say about Christy? It was awful and confusing. That's all I'm gonna say.
You got more to talk about?
Because Uninvited is delightful.
And Rich, you're very familiar with the term uninvited.
This is why I wanted to do this. This is why he's giving you the video.
Was it for that one joke?
Yes!
Because I'm going to say it was worth it.
Thank you.
All right. Rich, why don't you explain Uninvited?
Uninvited is the story about a genetically augmented cat that is a cat inside of another cat.
It did something.
Oh, I love this movie.
That was a great fake cat head.
Oh, gotta go.
Bye. Did the mutant
It's gonna
cat
drive
crawl
a car.
back inside
I
the other
guess.
cat?
And he escapes from a government lab where he ends up on the boat, on the yacht of evil Lord Business.
How does he end up on the boat?
Well, he gets picked up by some chicks.
Oh, look, the poor thing.
What's a cat in the garbage?
How'd it get in there?
The cat gets picked up by some chicks who get picked up by an evil businessman as cover for his trip to a bank.
Yes. In the Cayman?
On the Cayman Islands.
They're taking suitcases of money to the Cayman Islands to launder it?
It doesn't matter. Evil business, evil, crooked crime, white collar crime, need to get to Cayman Islands, need girls as cover story, because I guess you just can't go to the Cayman Islands.
It'll look like he's just floating around on a yacht with some bikini babes.
Even though there's nobody else out to see him.
In case the Coast Guard stops him. I'm just going out on my yacht with these ladies. Don't look around for suitcases
Isn't
full
it
of
more
money.
suspicious when you're like a greasy porn stash middle-aged man and you're hanging out with like 20-year-old bikini bimbos?
No, not in the early 90s. Absolutely not.
Oh no.
No, that's what they pay for.
Oh, okay.
This is the era. This is the era of Reaganomics.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Coast Guard won't even bother looking for the cocaine.
No.
Look, we know you got
partying with babes.
Yeah, I don't even know where the Coke was.
We know you got tons of Coke and bimbos, and there may be prostitution, but as long as you don't have suitcases filled with millions of dollars you plan to launder, we don't need to come on board, sir. That's pretty much it.
Have fun with your teenage babes.
Right.
Yeah, but the teenage babes happen to bring along 3 randos.
Well, that's where
important.
things get convoluted.
Three chachas from the country club.
We're supposed to set sail this morning on a cruise for the Caribbean. Be gone a couple days, maybe more. Why don't you guys come with us?
They say, the babes, they say to him, hey, we've been invited onto a yacht with these middle-aged men. Why don't you want to come with us? We're all complete strangers, but let's do this.
And also, here's a cat.
And then, and then it's just like, oh, and here's a cat. I guess we'll bring him too.
Man, oh man, that cat does not want to be on that boat.
It's all hanging by a thread, everything that happens.
But, Evil Business and George Kennedy, they didn't expect the 3 dudes.
That's true.
So they made everybody peel potatoes.
See, there is a lot of good character stuff going on in this film about a cat that barfs up another cat.
You'd be shocked at the pace of this movie about a cat that barfs up another cat. The pace is very good for the first 2 acts.
It's kind of inverse. Usually movies just take their sweet-ass time and they don't know what to do up until the end when they know the killer has to kill everybody.
Right, and this movie, straight up, bang, right off the first frame of the movie, here's this cat, it's radioactive, pwah!
This is the most bizarre thing. This really is.
A monster cat coming out of the mouth of another cat and then constantly retreating back into the cat?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be happening the first thing to happen.
Yeah.
There wasn't much setup.
Yeah.
That's the cat.
It looked like a scruffy puppet or something.
That's what it looked like.
It knows when it needs to go back to the cat. 20 minutes have gone by, cat. 20 minutes have gone by, cat. 20 minutes have gone by, cat.
Yeah, the pacing is really good, and every time you don't necessarily think about the cat, there's meowing happening, so you know that there's a cat around.
We need to talk about the sound design in this film. Did you know that cats just constantly meow all the time? Even without moving their mouths, it's a ventriloquist cat.
Oh my God!
Oh, they threw a car down a cliff. It's like the same glass.
They ran out of sound effects.
Oh, Jesus.
And they had a truck that they could drive off the edge of a bridge.
Yeah, and they could only afford 1 sound effect. They could only afford half of a sound effect.
They hit it hard.
And it's like a note on a keyboard, and they just do it over and over and over.
They had a hard edit at the end of the sound effect, so they had to hit it again before it ended.
Oh, it's
it was
wonderful.
almost musical, yeah.
Yay!
What the hell?
Whoever's stupid idea this was. A genetically modified cat that the beginning is just like them looking at an x-ray and they're like, there's a thing in its body, and then it just keeps cutting to the credits, and then it's like they take the cat into like an examining room, but there's no like restraints and they
They
leave
don't even have the door closed.
They leave the door open. They're just like, put the cat up. It's like the most incompetent animal testing facility in the world. So your movie logic brain would say, okay, this is going to be a movie about a genetically modified cat that's running around a laboratory. Or it gets out and the scientists have to find it, like a shock bug.
Yeah.
Right?
Or I would have expected the cat to like infect other cats in Fort Lauderdale, and it would have been like an epidemic or something.
Or,
Like
we were all predicting, like at the end, we would discover that the cat with the little cat inside it that was more deadly and dangerous was was the animal testing version of what they planned to do to people. Once the cat gets out of the laboratory, we don't go back to the laboratory.
No.
And then I said during the screenings, it turned into Mad Libs, where it's just like, okay, noun, verb, then it's like, it cuts to...
Boat bimbos.
It cuts to two girls trying to get into a hotel at spring break.
Why did you let me wear these shoes this morning? You wanted to wear those shoes. You
I
didn't
know,
even
but
know
they
you
were
You cut to like what looks like Matlock, like a TV show about like George Kennedy and the guys like the crime, and it's like
Clu Gulager and
what?
his teeth.
And then then the dudes, and then they get on a boat, and it's just the girl captain whose father owned the yacht. None of it has anything to do with the genetically mutated cat.
It's all more complicated than it needs to be, just like the cat itself. Instead of a mutant cat, we have a human cat that vomits up a mutant cat that also goes back into the cat's mouth when it's done feeding or biting people.
You had a practical theory about that.
Yeah, you want your monster cat, but you also want some mobility, so it's a regular cat that runs around, and then when it attacks, then the puppet comes out.
So you don't have to have a bad-looking puppet running around the corner.
Right, you just have a normal cat wandering around.
Does the cat know it has a monster cat inside it? Is it a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of situation?
That speaks of a plot line that we just didn't follow.
And it's hard to ask the cat or get dialogue from it.
Yeah, because cats don't know. And also that cat's probably dead by now. This was what, like 19...
Oh,
that cat's long dead.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't mean ask the cat in real life. I mean in the film.
Oh, okay.
I'm picturing like a making of Uninvited documentary. Like years ahead, they get the cast back together and they interview them. And they get a little cat wheelchair.
No, it keeps meowing, but its mouth doesn't move.
Oh, yeah. Just like the old days.
Yeah, things don't change.
There's a cat interpreter speaking for it. He's very disappointed with how the film turned out.
So much for that subplot.
That's a good
Wow. Well, let's talk about the finale then, which the third act starts when we cut to that toy boat.
Oh boy!
I mean,
yeah.
I mean that's a toy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means it's going to sink because there's a little model. How you gotta sink a real boat in this movie? You're gonna sink a little toy. I'm so excited.
This is after 25 minutes of, here's the plot up to this point. The boat is stranded and we're running out of food. That's the ticking clock. We're running out of food.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's night and now the boat's sinking.
Yeah, there's a storm, it's crazy.
It just hard cuts to a crazy storm.
Yeah.
Okay, this officially went off the rails here. I felt like 60 minutes of the movie just went missing.
Yeah.
Like the slow water buildup should have been a thing for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, that would have been a good ticking clock.
All of a sudden there's a storm.
Now.
It's so little.
How does it get
Now it's way bigger.
Yeah, it's like once it comes out of his mouth, it grows.
Yeah.
Slowly beating it underwater. Yeah.
Is this the conclusion?
But they have $1 million. Look, the important part is that our main characters end up on a dinghy and they get caught in a time loop where the cat just keeps jumping at them.
That was amazing.
Oh God! It's not over yet. Throw it again.
Yeah,
that's all you can do.
Okay, well this is an odd way to do your final encounter with the monster. How are they going to resolve this?
Oh, they're gonna throw a suitcase into the water.
We'll put him on a suitcase.
That gets its attention instead?
And it did.
Oh, it worked. That's good.
It's just staring at him.
It just went
Life raft.
We didn't get to Christy yet.
Oh.
Don't worry, I'm ready.
Jay was just doing his best Clu Gulager impression. This is the weirdest movie.
Well, you, Mike, had the opportunity to not have to talk about Christy, but circumstances changed, and now you have to talk about Christy.
Well... We picked Christy based on the quality of the cover and some of the images on the back.
Yes.
It's a quality cover.
Yeah. Whenever you have some like a 2 kilobyte image that's blown up, to print size, and it completely falls apart, and then you have a text. When text isn't done properly, text is usually vector based, which means you can blow it up or shrink it without losing resolution.
Yeah, yeah.
And when they screw text up, usually means they had an image of text and then blew that up.
Yes.
Which means they have no idea what they're doing. And
Did
when
they really fuck up the... Can I see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's stunning.
It's just so greedy and they don't understand.
Oh, there you are.
Hi, Santa.
What's the problem?
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
This is a feature-length film.
No, it's not.
It is.
85 minutes.
Yep.
Get set, everybody.
Don't you remember how Christmas used to be, Santa? They'd just come down in the morning and...
Was this edited live?
I'm pretty sure.
It's like a public access live show.
Just working that lever.
So this movie says that it's the proceeds go to the Wildlife Foundation, Family VHS. It's kind of a movie. It sort of has a plot. I can't, it's very hard to describe. It starts off like...
Well, it has a setup. It's like a 60-minute setup.
Yeah.
And then the final 30 minutes is just drunk grandpa trying to pet bobcats.
Get down here on his level and then it won't look quite so big to him. Uh-oh.
How do you even begin?
Well, we begin at the beginning. We get some amazing shots of Santa, and his reindeer.
Oh,
it's Christmas night.
That's wonderful.
Whoa!
Oh, God.
Jesus! Oh, boy. Fuck!
Oh,
He's flying.
He has a see-through hat.
It's in a movie that has white everywhere on everybody's costume. They made the decision, instead of using a blue or green screen, to key out a white background.
Yep.
So Santa is at all times partially transparent.
Also, the reindeer's kind of a ghost.
Well, let's just say pretty good special effects.
Pretty good.
We'll just roll it all up into that.
This would have wowed them in like 1908.
Yeah.
In the era when people were afraid the train would hit them, this movie, these effects would have killed.
Yeah.
That's good.
Somebody pointing a camera at the ground that is covered with snow. And this is supposed to be an aerial shot over Santa's village because we see...
Because there are 3 little houses planted among these piles.
Do you think those were miniatures?
Yeah. Did you think they had a helicopter for this?
I thought they got a drone.
That's more like it. Easy. Easy.
Oh, no, they didn't have drones back then.
Oh.
Would have to have been a full-on helicopter.
Okay.
I don't
You're
think
saying
could
they
afford
didn't
it.
do that?
I'm saying that
They're
I think
miniatures,
it was.
Jay,
I think it was a miniature very similar to the ship in Uninvited.
Yeah.
You know what? Agree to disagree.
Okay. All right.
Easy now. Easy. You're awful excited. No, we'll have to go around one more time. Hot Springs Meadow there. You can get a good feed and get a good well-earned rest.
Okay, we have a special effects extravaganza opening where Santa returns to the North Pole.
Yeah.
But the first real scene that goes on for 30 minutes is his elf, who's pictured in the back of this crime scene photo.
Socially awkward girl.
The spirited elf.
Is sitting in front of a rock, and there's another rock there. There's
the only rocks on the North Pole that don't have snow on them.
There's no lights on them, and then there's a background, and then they have some kind of conversation that goes on for an hour, and she's crying.
She cries a lot.
And we don't know what they're saying.
Well, because you can barely hear anything in this movie because they filmed it in a warehouse.
Yeah, and they didn't have lapel mics like we have.
Yeah.
The elves need you. You must go back. You got skills the elves do not. You got the power you need to finish their sleigh.
There is a scene where Jack Frost is talking to somebody.
Oh, God.
Oh, he's talking to
Tanglefoot. And I think I cracked. My brain cracked. I just couldn't stop laughing, and I wasn't laughing at anything in particular.
Well, Tanglefoot.
What?
That's where they help the elves.
Oh,
What?
God.
You probably thought you could be no help to them.
What?
It's gonna be a little different.
They forgot the wireless this day.
You were laughing that it was that inept.
No, I was just laughing like a person in a straitjacket would laugh. Like, there was no context. I was just like, my brain stopped working.
This was the worst thing I've ever seen. I can't believe it.
I'm calling in sick next Christmas episode.
So Jack Frost, do your magic tricks, let the nations wonder how one who's said to be so bad can fill the world with splendor.
The songs are done by Red Letter Media legend Frank Worley.
Returning legend Frank Worley.
This is taking it way back. Frank Worley. This is a tape that we bought at a thrift store.
It got kicked around the Plinkett House set.
Well, we used it in episode 5 or 6 or 8 of Half in the Bag.
Yeah. What did we do with it?
Of all you survey, you're a gay Santa Claus.
You smashed it with a hammer. I think we reviewed like the first Thor movie.
Oh.
And that was the reason you smashed it with a hammer. So this is the tape that was used in that episode 25 years ago when we shot that.
Yeah.
But he does all the songs for this movie.
And Frank Worley is from Vesper, Wisconsin. Yeah.
No, this time Santa's problem is a pesky little elf.
You know how in most musicals, when a song starts, like, things happen?
Yeah, they just sit there.
dance,
Not so much with this one.
Just close-ups of people looking miserable.
Also, when I was just crying. Frank Worley song.
But the Frank Worley song plays, and usually in a movie, when you have a musical number, you know, you have characters singing or dancing, or it just holds on this girl crying for 25 minutes.
Now I know why they call it the flyover zone.
Because it's full of crying elves?
Because this is what the Midwest produces.
This is a perfect place
Oh.
for a new release.
Oh!
I didn't know what I was looking at.
I know, I thought it was like a giraffe neck. That doesn't.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
So the plot is crying elf is sad because the animals don't get a Christmas visit from Santa Claus. And Santa says, well, I can't do it, I'm too busy. And she says, why don't you do it the next day?
Just tell me why you think it can't work, and I'll give you a reason to make it so.
I'll give you a reason.
With the population growing the way it is, I can hardly make my rounds before it gets light the way it is.
Then just make the rounds during the day.
That could work.
Santa never thought of that.
Oh!
You dumbass.
So they spend a year putting the sled back together.
They spend a year fixing Santa's old sled.
Santa's got to stay here for a while.
Santa's lawn chair?
Frank Worley, Song 3, coming up soon.
Oh, this sucks.
Doesn't
this just sucks.
Rich, doesn't this put you in the Christmas spirit?
No!
We got Santa, we got reindeers, we got Christmas songs. I don't know what more you want.
The cat movie put me in the Christmas spirit.
Oh, we got a warehouse.
We got Santa's garage.
Grandpa's shed.
Santa's creepy tarp.
Yeah, you're missing the important part. The titular character, Christy, the first female reindeer, is birthed. There's 35 close-up shots of her out of focus.
Tiny baby reindeer.
Playing over Frank Worley's beautiful music. And then eventually Christy grows up and there's a montage sequence where Santa trains her.
And the rest, we add a few.
Is that just a big pile of headstones? Whoa! Is that like the graveyard headstone dumping ground?
It's all the old reindeer.
Yeah.
What is that?
All the old elves.
The elves are tiny anyway.
He's sticking his finger up that reindeer's ass.
So Christy is trained to fly Santa's sled.
That harness fits real good.
And that is the first 60 minutes of the film that lead up to the plot, which is Santa takes Christy and lands and then just explores animals in the woods.
He drunkenly tries to provoke animals.
He's come around here to see what all we're doing, and
including
Tumblefoot does knock the sled down a hill. Tumblefoot wants to help.
Tumblefoot is an abominable snowman.
And then he mildly gets in the way a little bit.
Oh, that wasn't bad.
Your priorities are in an interesting place.
I expected much worse.
These people look like they're in a cult.
Yeah,
They look crazy.
Manson girls.
Yeah.
But then Santa Claus calls Tumblefoot and asks him to...
Oh, he calls him on a payphone. Where is Santa?
I don't know.
Where is he? Why does he get a payphone?
Don't know. But Santa Claus calls Tumblefoot. I was like, hey, help them move the sled. And Tumblefoot's trying to do his best, but he moves the sled all the way to the dangerous waterfall that we talked about, we heard about earlier in the film.
There was setup
like,
for it.
stay away from that waterfall.
Yeah.
And then the sled goes down the waterfall and there's an avalanche. And then Tumblefoot goes like this with the sled and pulls it out. And that's the end of that plot.
Did this air on Adult Swim at 4 a.m.?
I just kept waiting at the end when Santa's like petting all the animals and he's just playing with them. I was just waiting for like a barf cat to show up.
Oh, yeah!
But Grandpa, AKA Santa, should have said, now the fox lives in the woods and is nocturnal and
Gave
collects
some actual information.
Education.
Ecology, animal ecology information.
It could have been a brilliant educational video for children.
Who
wasn't.
doesn't? What kid doesn't want to see Santa interacting with a coyote who's trying to steal his bag?
Yeah, I'd much rather see that than Santa interacting with a crying elf.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there could have been real life horror because there is a bobcat there that looked very defensive.
That bobcat was not having it.
he's got a mean look in his eye yet.
There's a guy in a Santa suit, like
the ears were back. It was like,
there was a fucking mountain lion there.
Yeah, for a minute, yeah.
Those things don't know how to react to Santa Claus. Like hovering above them.
This has really been a wonderful day. Really been a wonderful day.
Well, they like those marshmallows.
Otters can't digest marshmallows. It's gonna die.
That's why he's climbing that tree.
No, Mr. Porter, no. Your Santa Claus movie is killing the otters.
Trying to get away from the marshmallows. Fuck off.
They expand in their stomach until the otters burst.
Santa Claus is drunk again and he won't stop feeding all the animals marshmallows.
Oh, look, it's sticking.
Oh my God, they're underwater now.
Oh God! Oh no, the abyss!
And meanwhile, Mrs. Claus is preparing peanut butter covered potatoes.
They're like spreading peanut butter on rocks.
Can I just keep thinking about just the cinematography in general. Just
of
tonight.
Christy?
Just like this and
Overall.
this.
Oh, yeah.
Just no visual anything. It's like I feel like I went to the Stevie Wonder School of Cinematography tonight.
So simple, even I can use it.
Put the camera 45 feet away from everything and just have all of your actors in the background.
You can never tell what those guys got on their mind.
So we've come to the point of the night where we have to pick best of the worst. Rich Evans, what is best of the worst?
Uninvited, easily.
Okay.
This just gives me warm, happy feelings of some of the good times I've had on Best of the Worst.
Yeah. Josh?
Well, I'll tell you, if you want to watch a movie, you want to watch Uninvited. It's the one that definitely looked like a film, acted like a film, and had film actors in it.
Yeah. This is true.
Well said. Well
That's
said.
my choice.
Uninvited.
All right.
Ironically, our Christmas episode, our 2 Christmas films were terrible. One can't even be called a film.
It's not a movie.
But to give Christy some credit, had some good laughs for the incredibly inept special effects.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
That's the thing is like we are talking about Uninvited as like this is bizarre. No. Christy is bizarre.
This is so bizarre, it gets a little asterisk next to it, like noteworthy, because we'll always talk about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the thing. I will say for these 3 movies overall that we didn't lack on interests. There was nothing that was painfully boring, although this one came kind of close.
This one came close.
It was so packed full of Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything we've watched that had that much Christmas in it.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Christy gets the asterisk for being so bizarre, and this, it doesn't quite get to the point where I actually want to destroy it.
Right. Yeah.
It didn't give us pain.
The heart was in it, the execution was lacking.
Right. But Uninvited, legitimately entertaining and fun and weird.
Track down that VHS rip DVD.
I think it's coming to Blu-ray.
Wow.
I think.
We get to see the Barf Cat in all its glory.
Yeah.
All its HD glory.
You'll see more of the puppeteer's arm in HD.
I can't wait.
Well, since we're not destroying any tapes, I think we should pass on the Christmas cheer, the Christmas magic, and we should become Santa Clauses ourselves by rewrapping these gifts and placing them around the city.
Okay.
Toys for tots. Some deserving child somewhere will open this up.
And we'll ruin their Christmas.
And we'll ruin not just their Christmas, but their life.
Well, I would say put Uninvited in there too, because we need to give somebody a Barf Cat.
Maybe, Mike, instead of ruining their life, you will inspire the world's future greatest filmmaker. Because they'll say, fuck this,
Yeah.
I can do better than this.
Yeah, yeah.
Inspirational.
And I'm 5.
Would a 5-year-old really be dropping the F-bomb?
Fuck yes.
Sure.
After seeing Christy, it's like the innocence is lost at that
A lonely pine tree standing in a shady forest nook, a beacon for its dwellers like in a fable book, has drawn today a man dressed in a shiny suit of red.
Merry Christmas, everybody! Merry Christmas!
Methinks it must be Santa, but what is this I see? He's hanging apples, oranges, nuts, and figs upon this tree. For this is not your ordinary children's Christmas Eve. All God's creatures share in love the tidbits that he leaves. Santa's hanging Fruit Loops on a woodland Christmas tree. Garlands made of Fruit Loops for his forest family. On Christmas Eve, the children of the world his sleigh might see. But today his sleigh is loaded for his forest family.